Hey, how's it going, guys? This is a tag team steel cage match between Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Motorcity Machine Guns, versus Samoa Joe and Magnus for the TNA Tag Team Championships. Now, the ending of this match, the whole match actually, the gameplay isn't exactly how it's gonna play out on Sunday, for the simple reason that, well, actually, I'll go into the reason a bit later on in this commentary. But for now, let's talk about these guys. Let's talk about this match. Let's go into more detail. Because in the prediction game video, I told you guys I thought that Joe and Magnus are gonna retain their tag team championships this Sunday at Lockdown. But I'll go into more detail in this video on why I think that, and just give my thoughts, I guess, on both. All of these competitors in the match. Let's start with Joe and Magnus, man. Joe and Magnus formed a tag team a couple months back when they had this tag team tournament. I forgot what it's. Oh yeah, the wild card tag team tournaments, where they just put teams together, random guys on the roster, put them together, and so it makes for some odd tag teams. Including, this one, Magnus and Joe, looked like an odd tag team to me. And you had also Eric Young and ODB, which now don't seem that odd of a tag team because they're teaming up together now. And you also had AJ Styles and Kazarian. Now that wasn't a very odd team, because those two guys were unfortunate in the past. And I believe they've had some tag team matches together in the past as well. So that was like the only team that made sense. They're saying storyline wise they picked these teams at random. Obviously they didn't pick them at random. But anyways, I don't remember the other teams, honestly. Oh yeah, I think you had Rob Van Dam and somebody else. Oh yeah, Christopher Daniels. They feuded for a short while, and I think Rob Van Dam won all the matches between these guys. So, the tournament ended up with Joe and Magnus versus AJ Styles and Kazarian, which I thought AJ and Kazarian were going to win that tag team tournament and become the #1 contenders. But, surprisingly, Joe and Magnus won. Actually, it wasn't that surprising after watching that episode of Impact. But before that episode, I thought for sure that Kazarian and AJ were going to win that championship tournament. But then, backstage, you saw Christopher Daniels talk to Kazarian just before AJ and Kazarian were going to go compete for that match. So right then and there, I knew, okay, Kazarian is going to turn on AJ and, cost him the match or something like that. So it ended up with Kazarian just ditching AJ and AJ getting pinned by Samoa Joe or Magnus. Actually, I don't remember which one got the pinfall. But yeah, they won that tag team tournament, and then they had their tag team title shot against Crimson and Matt Morgan. And like I predicted, Crimson and Matt Morgan won the match. And I thought after that it was done, it was over for Magnus and Joe. But no, they actually had a rematch. And even in the rematch, I thought, Joe and Magnus aren't going to win this. I thought Crimson and Matt Morgan were going to last as a tag team. But no, they didn't last at all, because in the rematch, Crimson ends up costing... Oh no, it wasn't in the rematch actually. But yeah, Magnus and Joe won. And afterwards, they had a rematch. Or Magnus and Crimson had a rematch, which Joe and Magnus won once again. And then they had another rematch, which they also won, but that was because Crimson turned on Matt Morgan, thus allowing Joe and Magnus to capitalize on the victory. And something else that's surprising to me was that Joe is actually a champion right now, and Joe is actually getting pinfalls, because Joe was on this, before getting in this tag team, Joe was on this losing streak. He was losing matches left and right, losing matches every single week. And once he got in this tag team, everything went better than expected. And he's getting pinfalls on a regular basis, winning matches, tag team matches, not so much singles matches, but whatever. But Yeah, so Magnus and Joe have been a pretty successful tag team, pretty over with the crowd as well. They started off, I think, as a heel tag team, but then I think they made them into tweeners. But they started off as heels. Oh yeah, check this out. As you can see, Alex Shelley is getting out of this steel cage match. And this is why I told you guys this match wouldn't play out exactly as you'd see it on Lockdown, because at Lockdown, I believe you can't win the match if you just get out of the cage. You have to win by pinfall or submission. And when it comes to this game and tag team steel cage matches, especially online, it's just stupid. You know, you got like, no, actually, it's worse when it comes to single player, because the CPU is just dumb. The CPU just wants to get out of the ring. He doesn't care if it ends up being a handicap match for you. As you can see, Alex Shelley just got out of the ring, and now we're double teaming Chris Sabin. Basically, we've got the advantage. He doesn't have the advantage. I mean, yeah, one half of the tag team of one half of the Motorcity Machine Guns just got out of the ring, but you just left your partner out there, you know, to fend for himself. So now all we gotta do is just take Chris Sabin down, and we can both get out of the ring. But you know, in my case, what I'm gonna do, since this is a CPU, both are CPUs, all of them are CPUs. I'm playing as Samoa Joe here. I'm gonna wait until Magnus gets out of the ring. I just want to make sure he gets out of the ring, because it's a CPU, so it's pretty dumb, you know. So when Magnus gets out, I'm gonna take out Chris Sabin and get out myself. But when it comes to online steel cage matches, you always want to wait for your partner. Wait for him so you can both get out at the same time. Don't get out first and then wait for him to get out, because you know that then they could double team him, and it'd be easy for them to just get out. So, which is funny, because back in SVR 07, I was playing a lot of tag team matches. 07, I think, like, I'd say maybe 85% or 90% of the matches I played were tag team matches. I had this, I was playing tag team matches all the time with this guy online. We were always playing as a tag team. And yeah, we're always playing as tag team, and when it came to these steel cage tag team matches, we'd always lull at people just getting out of the steel cage and leaving their partner there. Actually, one time, you know, this one guy was getting out of steel cage, and you know how you can actually stop somebody from climbing out the steel cage. So one of our opponents was climbing up the steel cage, while the other one was like down or something like that, so he wasn't climbing up, but the other one was. We just let him climb up. You know, we could easily stop him, but we just let him climb up, because we knew if he climbed out that cage, then we just had the advantage. We were double teaming. You know, we could double team this other guy and easily win the match. And it's not considering, you know, it's not cheap if you're double teaming somebody in a tag team match, because it's a freaking tag team match, unless, you know, it's a normal tag team match and you're not supposed to be in the ring. But when it's a tornado steel cage match, and you know his partner just ditched him, well, hey, his partner, you know, should be the one, is the one to play him, basically. So as you can see, Magnus just got out of the ring, and right now I just gotta take out Sabin, and I can get out myself. If this was an online match, though, an online steel cage tag team match, I would get out at the same time as Magnus. But since it's not an online match, I just wait for the CPU to get out himself, and then I'd get out. I didn't risk getting out myself first and then waiting for Magnus, because, you know, it's CPU versus CPU. Chris Sabin could have beaten him and, you know, climbed out the cage before Magnus, and then they would have won that match. So I climbed out the cage and won the match. And yeah, I went way off topic here. Started talking about the gameplay more than the actual match itself. But, you know, to put it simply here, you know, I think Joe and Magnus are going to retain. If Motorcity Machine Guns end up winning this match, then hey, that's cool with me. But I prefer Joe and Magnus to win, just to establish them as a, you know, good tag team. Especially, you know, if they beat a top tag team like the Motorcity Machine Guns, that'd be a great win for them. So I'm really hoping they win this championship match. Maybe in the rematch, the Motorcity Machine Guns could win. But even then, I want Joe and Magnus to win. I just want them to have a long, lengthy title reign. But with the Motorcity Machine Guns back, I don't know if we're going to have a long title reign for Joe and Magnus. And I wonder if they're going to turn Joe and Magnus heel, you know, during this feud, or you know, after this match in the rematch or something like that, because TNA often does that. I mean, Joe and Magnus started off as heels, I believe, or pretty sure they were heels. I mean, they'd attack Matt Morgan and Crimson from behind and stuff, and now they're faces. And as you can see in the gameplay, even Joe and Magnus are laughing at Alex Shelley for ditching his partner Chris Sabin like that. Look at that. They're actually laughing at Alex Shelley. Yeah, that's basically it for this video, guys. Hope you guys learned something about Steel Cage Tornado Tag Team matches. If you're playing online, wait for your partner so you can both climb out. And my prediction, like I said, Joe and Magnus to retain. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm out.